Well, hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. What's up, JJ, Kosh, Lime, Mr. Question Mark R8, Johan, JS, Jackax, everybody else. As always, during KT times, live chat is read, but we do not actively reply to it because it's much more podcast type of format. Now, a ton of things have happened in Marvel Coins of Champions in the recent days. However, I must start with saying a huge thank you and congratulate mothers in the Mother's Day. Because obviously mothers are the essence of everything. I have one, believe it or not. I was not built, I was born. And I have sent a message to my mother. I hope all of you have remembered your mothers as well. Treat them well. Believe you me. Otherwise, you can still get ass whooping in your adult life like never before. So, as I said before, we have a ton of things to talk about. And we first need to start with introducing my co-host, Mandalorian, the one and the only. He is here and he is ready.
Hey, happy Mother's Day. I'm glad your parents had sex and you're here.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that everybody thinks but never says out loud. But hey, okay.
Oh, I always say it out loud. Yay! Glad your parents had sex and now you're here. Anyway, so yeah, happy Mother's Day. Uh, everybody should be having a good day. Have your nice brunches or whatever the hell they do. But yeah, so let's talk about some stuff we care about, which is the Mothers Contest of Champ. Wait, that's not it. Marvel Contest of Champion. Yeah, that's what we want to talk about.
That is exactly that.
Yeah.
Right, so we
Oh,
basically
what I
only have three major topics for this week. The first one we're probably going to go over in the first 10, 15 minutes, 10, 12, 15 minutes. And then obviously we have the most major pieces, which actually I kind of feel we could talk about for hours because there is a lot to talk about. Right, so we're gonna start with the easiest and most straightforward one. Echo from Mando should be sorted right now, don't worry. And yeah, so let's start with the quickie one. That's going to be the Incursions Masteries Bug of Doom. So if you have been
What?
What?
I was just gonna say, why do we always have to start off with talking about a bug? Did you guys notice that? Every week we're like, hey, so we're gonna start off talking about this bug. Oh, we're gonna talk about this bug real quick. We're gonna talk about this bug. We're gonna talk about this bug. Go to every KT time for the past like couple of months. It's always a bug.
Well,
Anyway.
it's not my fault they keep coming.
No, I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah,
not.
I
I'm
know.
not even blaming us. I'm just like, what game survives like this? What game do we have that
Yeah, I know. This is a special game. Very, very, very special game that seems to be
Mother.
as consistent as ever. There are not many things below this sun as consistent as Kabam is with creating, introducing, and discovering new ways how to bug their own game.
Fun and interactive interactions, right?
Yeah,
It's for your entertainment.
honestly,
Jesus.
they never miss a week. They never miss a
They
week.
have yet to miss a week. Yeah, no, they have not missed a week. I'm like, yeah, yeah.
So, how about we talk about it? So for those of you who do not know, and there are probably people who do not care about incursions, therefore probably did not know anything about any of this at all, it's actually a fairly straightforward thing to describe, but not actually comprehend. But somehow, if you do happen to play incursions, it can just basically switch off all your masteries. Your PI goes down and none of them work well. Majority of the masteries are nice extra cream on the top, whatever damage increase and stuff like that. However, parry and dexterity are basically at this point instrumental to playing this game at all. So it means if your mastery is bugged out, you were guaranteed to die in AQ, guaranteed to die in AW, because the masteries were not just switched out for incursions, they randomly got switched off everywhere. And there have been tons of people who have gotten screwed in Alliance War, who have gotten screwed in Alliance Quest, on Event Quest, and where not. So,
I
what's
still
your
had
take
people
on this?
yesterday.
Hmm?
I still had people yesterday in my alliance saying Dex isn't working, Parry isn't working. What the hell's going on? And I'm like, guys, do you not pay attention? I've told you guys not to do
Yeah.
incursions or anything like that. People were under the misconception that um, that it was only the champions used in incursions, or all this other kind of stuff. This was not just. This was basically they should have pulled down
Yeah,
incursions
they should have just locked it
immediately.
down completely to everyone. I'm surprised they didn't.
Instead they let it go on for a week and then released a half-ass update on like Friday night, which supposedly fixed the issue, but like it didn't automatically update for a lot of people, and a lot of people weren't looking for an update because
Eventually
they
it
didn't
did,
know
though.
about it.
It updated the next day for me automatically. Because I wasn't going to
Okay,
bother
yeah.
with the update as I was doing the Korean challenges. And obviously, me having, let's say, fair amount of skepticism with Kabam and their updates, I didn't want to update because everything was working for me fine then. And I was thinking I'll update when I have done with these challenges just in case something goes wrong. And
Yeah.
no, the next day, the day after they released that patch, as I was logging in the game, it demanded that I update.
It's okay. Well, at least it did that. Yeah, but so like I had people in war yesterday at the very beginning of war, like complaining, I don't know what's going on. I've died twice, and I'm like, why did you die once, much less twice, and not say anything? And anyway,
Well,
so this one was a horrible bug. The person that reported in the forums originally, yeah, it's the worst bug that I've ever seen, because you're right, parry and dexterity are two things that we rely on, especially when Alliance Quest and Alliance Wars are going on and you got new content that's coming out and everything. And considering that a lot of people were doing incursions because it just reset and it was just about to end when all this was happening, uh, and the fact that they finally responded saying that, oh yeah, it's a known issue 5 days ago, but yet they kept it up. They kept the what do you call it? They kept the what do you call it? They kept the incursion up even though it was causing issues. That's stupid as hell.
yeah,
It's
that just
because
goes
it
back to
was,
the same issue we were talking about Kingpin Sing just now. So, Kabam definitely
yeah,
needs an attitude change towards their player base.
yeah,
As a
because it comes
company,
across
like as a
as,
guideline in the company.
think about it. If you didn't watch YouTube videos and you didn't go on the forums, how are you to know what's going on?
Exactly.
You know?
There was no
And
in-game mail or message sent either, was there?
no,
No.
like that's the problem. There was nothing, and this was the worst. Not only the worst bug I've seen, it was handled and still continues to be handled the worst way ever.
Yep.
Um, this is inexcusable in my eyes. It was, like I said, handled the worst way. I don't even do incursions, you know that, and I'm pissed off about it because of how it was handled.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to
It's
do
ridiculous.
incursions. I actually was meant to do incursions with Messiah on Monday, I believe. Because that was like the day or a couple days before the top zone bonuses reset. So effectively, because of this
Yeah.
bug, I did end up missing out on a huge chunk of artifacts, 5 and 6 star shards and stuff like that. I'm not that fussed about it, but it didn't feel all that great, right? Obviously, didn't want to do, couldn't, and I didn't want to risk those masters, even though I knew that I can get the masteries back by like resetting them or restarting the game or whatever. I
Right.
just did not want to risk being caught out by the sudden disappearance of my masteries
But
in,
you
let's
see,
say, Alliance
that's
War or Alliance Quest.
that's the problem though, KT. And this is what I'm going to say is, I know you say you're not too fussed. We've gotten to the point where we don't get as upset about this stuff, and I think that's because we kind of expect it now, and that's bullshit. Why are
I
we?
know it's not right. It's not right. It should not be tolerated. Honestly, it should not.
This like I said, to happen during a war season, to happen in the middle of an alliance
We
quest week.
definitely should get some sort of compensation for this. 100%.
They
Without doubt.
never even there was something else that we should have gotten compensation for last month. I don't even remember what it is now, but like,
Yeah, exactly. I can't keep track of it. I
you
genuinely
see,
can't
that's the
keep track of
problem.
it.
They count on us not being able to keep track of all the bullshit they pull, so that way we can't say, well, what about the compensation for this? Because they're like, what are you talking about? That didn't happen.
Yeah. I genuinely
That
can't
was 3
remember
years
what
ago.
outrageous, outlandish, huge screw up Kabam did 2 weeks ago because there are just too many of them. I know for a fact something
Yeah.
went wrong because I keep saying they never miss a week and they haven't.
Nope.
But
I
I
mean, we
don't
can go
remember
back and
exactly
find
what it
out
is.
what it was, but yeah, that's what's messed up. It's like I'm so mad right now. I'm more mad than I was before we started. I'm still mad.
But yeah, when it comes to compensation, unfortunately, it doesn't really quite look like that there's gonna be anything happening
They're trying to sweep it under the rug.
Because they haven't really properly even acknowledged it. So
They're trying
there
to sweep it
might
under the
be.
rug.
I think there should be, but I don't think there will be.
No, I don't. Because they're not. Like I said, they're sweeping that under the rug like a motherfucker.
Yeah, they are.
This didn't exist in their eyes.
Yeah, pretty
even though it required an update.
Yeah, even though it was issue big enough to release a hotfix update, but whatever.
Jesus.
I guess. Right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
sure.
that's more in the news of same old, same old. Right. So let's move on some slightly more interesting, fun, and also controversial topics. And the next point to discuss is
Carina's challenges.
Yeah, goddamn right, it's Carina's challenge. You goddamn right, flipping right.
Oh, look, KT is so excited because he did it within 37 hours or some shit like that. Some bitch.
Yeah, I did
anyway,
it. I did it. I
not
did it
that
all.
I'm bitter that I missed half of them because, he said he wasn't going to do one without me, and he did it anyway.
I
just
went full retard, man. You never go full retard, but I went full retard. I just went full retard.
Now he's paying for it, too.
Huh?
Now you're paying for it because you're all tired from it, too.
Oh, I'm getting better. I have been taking my orange
juice. No, you're not. You'll be stone dead in a moment.
Yeah. I was absolutely hooked once I was done with them. I'm not gonna lie, man. Mentally, I was like a fried pancake.
It was worse than an arena grind, I think.
It was much worse than an arena grind.
Mentally, I would say is probably on par with the Abyss, probably. You trying to finish 100% Abyss for the first time.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I bet it was a little bit more stressful because you knew that it was like new. People were trying to do it. You wanted to hurry up and do it, even though there was no reason to do it other than just finishing it by June 7th. But, you went through it pretty hard, and I think you did it in the right order, too. I'll say.
I do have a brand spanking new shiny rank 5 Jacobkanda.
Yes, you do. Which, yeah. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to say, yeah. Yeah. I got a new rank up, too, but mine was actually, like, good. I ranked 2 to my 6
What you on about, man? Jacobkanda is obviously top tier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, let's actually talk about the challenges. So let's discuss them.
Good.
Right. So, well, let's start just in order as they are listed here on the screen. So let's start with the Act 5 ones.
Yes.
That all involve 3-star champions, and let's start with the most diabolical, shitty, absolutely dog shit, crappy, sadistic piece of shit challenge that exists there. I honestly think this one was worse than any other one because it just made you feel like an idiot. It just made you feel like a dum-dum sitting there at Collector dying every 15 seconds, and yeah, basically you just felt like a Neanderthal holding your Wee in the hand as you were watching your items just get pissed in the wind.
My problem is, I know it's all ha funny.
At that point, it wasn't funny. It's not funny. It wasn't funny. It's not funny.
It's never been funny.
3-star Cyclops challenge idea is funny. 3-star Cyclops doing like literally any other of the paths and stuff like that, would be a-okay.
This sucked. I tried to start it. I couldn't even do the first fight. I tried both.
No, like the fights
Spider-Man.
themselves and the Bane aspect, I actually liked. Getting to the boss, I genuinely enjoyed it. It wasn't too bad.
No, I hated it.
Well, I kind of like the fact that you had to obviously do your transfers. There was a lot of skill involved getting to the boss.
There's definitely skill, but I
that bit I liked a lot. The thing that I didn't like, however, obviously, was the fact that the collector fight, it's just not doable. No matter how good or bad you are, you just end up dying dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And what's worse, you don't even get any real fight up time. And like, let's put it right.
No.
Collector fight is still a huge problem for all the newer players with freaking rank 5, rank 4, 5 stars and stuff like that.
It's still a huge problem. Like, if I went in with my big ass team, I think I still would have a problem with it.
Well, like with big ass team, I definitely would be able to like destroy that
I
guy.
could do it,
but
it
like
wouldn't be
even when you do it with like
because I have
4
more
stars
health.
and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you'd get your ass. Even if it would be 4-star Cyclops is there, you'd still get your ass whooped.
Yeah, I don't even understand why they had to do a 3-star. I mean, it's like,
But-
you know what? Just do 5-star. I mean,
Oh,
he's shit.
Well, no, 4-star would be bearable, I'd say. It would be a
4-star would
handful
be
of
better, I
revives.
think. Yeah, I can't even
And
pair
I
it with a
had
3-star.
done previously like Act 5 3-star completion run where I obviously could use like synergies and stuff like that. And Collector wasn't like too big of a problem with some champions. Obviously, Cyclops are just objectively bad champions. Like there are only a handful of champions in game that would be worse than Cyclops to use there. But I hate it.
But you see, that's what I don't understand. It's like, Kabam are they saying? I mean, this is what some people are saying, that like they're never going to buff these champions because of this
No,
now.
they will.
But it's like, I don't think that's true. But it's like,
they
know how bad these champions are, yet they're, instead of fixing them, they're like, haha, look, this is funny.
Yeah, well, no, it would be funny if it was literally like pretty much any other boss that you would actually be able to, I don't know, take 20, 30, 40% of health off in an average go. Obviously, Collector, that's not the case. And I think they overplayed their hand with this one, to say the least. This challenge did nothing for me but made me hate, is a strong word, but yeah, hate Kabam and hate Kabam Mike more. It definitely didn't give me a single positive emotion.
I think
I used 35 revives exactly for the Collector. I used like a handful to get to the Collector, like a couple, not too many to be honest, but 35 revives in Collector. Shit, there's not much I can say else about it.
I think that Kabam Mike is kind of like Freddy Krueger, in that he doesn't exist unless he lives off the hate of others, and that's the only reason why.
I don't know, man, but they definitely overplay their hand. I like nothing about this. Actually, for me, was the worst one, because Labyrinth, once you actually kind of like felt that there's something up to you, and yes, you were guaranteed to use items and a lot of them, and the Star-Lord one, I actually ended up using more revives than in this one, but this one by far felt the worst and most demoralizing one. It wasn't the longest; it only took about an hour. By comparison, the LOL ones took 2.5 hours, 4 hours, and 5 hours.
Right.
But this one by far felt the worst. And I have not a single good thing to say about it, about the Collector fight. About getting to the Collector fight, I'd be happy with. If the challenge would be, get to Collector and like enter the Collector fight with that team, I'd be perfectly fine if you were allowed to quit that fight at some point. But just the idea of like the fact that you had to do the entire Collector fight was absolutely bullshit.
Yeah, that's pretty crap.
Okay, let's move on to some better ones. Let's move on to some significantly better ones. So Mystic Dispersed was one of the easier ones.
Yeah,
one of the ones that also everybody definitely can do. That is Thronebreaker, guaranteed, because 3 stars are relatively easy to rank and you have plenty of choice. You don't need to have that specific exact 3-star ranked up. Versus most of Act 6 challenges I actually liked, if not all of them. Yeah, I liked all of them, but this Mystic Dispersed is probably the best one to start with, because it's 3 stars. It's very, very, very easily accessible. It's pretty much the easiest 15,000 6-star shards you will ever earn in this game. And yeah, it was fun. My personal strategy was basically Nick Fury for the boss, and the rest of the team was mutants for Colossus. I ended up using one revive on the stupidest fight ever, which was Psylocke, just because I completely messed, because still it's 3-star. If you miss a parry, you're dead.
It was hilarious.
But
The
that
revive
was like
shouldn't
the
have happened, but
easiest
it was-
fight on the path. So you can definitely do it without revives. Like if I wasn't live streaming, I would probably just restarted the path and done it without the revives and stuff like that. And there are a dozen ways how you can approach it. But the basic idea is you should not use champions that overly rely on parry or are not super tanky. So either you use very, very, very tanky and sustainable champions, ideally with quite good damage output, or you use champions that have altered ways of finding openings, like Ghost and like Shang-Chi, for instance. He never needs to parry and stuff like that. And in all, you definitely have a lot of options. Basically, any champion that deals a ton of damage. Your A-Guns, your Star-Lords, your Guillotine 2099s, your Colossuses, probably Sunspots, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of options.
Right. Yeah, no. There's definitely good on that one.
And
which I was going to do.
Yeah.
But I was going to just start in order, and I think I just went the wrong way.
Yeah, you definitely went the wrong way. Definitely, my personal suggestion is start with this 3-star one, because it's one of the 2-3 easiest ones. But unlike the other ones where like you might not have 5-star rogue or some 5 stars ranked up and stuff like that, at the very least, at the very, very, very least, 3 stars are very easy to rank and have and get and obtain and pull and stuff like that. So this one pretty much has no objective like roster requirement either. Like, because 3 stars, if you're Thronebreaker, you have a crap load of 3 stars. You just can't escape
for
that.
sure.
And Mordor boss can be slightly tricky, obviously, because it's Mordor. But yeah, for me, Nick Fury just soloed the fight. First go, very easy, use Colossus. But again, there's a ton of different options. I will post guide for every single one of these challenges. I'll start tomorrow with the first one. Regardless of how simple I find them, I'll still try to put my input, like which path I took and, well, stuff like that. So,
I gotcha.
Yeah, this one's great. This one was great. I'm not sure what the reward of 3 tier 4 class catalysts there is meant to represent, but 15,000 6-star shards, very good. No complaints. Right, let's move on to the Asgardian Cheddar. What do you think about that one?
That one, I heard some people have some problems with. I can see it being a little difficult, but I think it's more of a fair challenge one. I don't think it's anything that's undoable. Loki can be, if you use him right and you do the curse and you steal the buffs and such, as long as there's buffs to steal, I think you could do it. It may not be as easy as a Mystic Dispersed one, but it's definitely a good one.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Yes, it takes longer. Like Mystic Dispersion one can be done in about half an hour. Might's Revenge takes about an hour, and this one does take about an hour as well, just purely due to the length of the fights. I took the Rage path. The problem is the first 2 fights. Regardless of which ones you pick, you will die. That's quite simple. Because you have to pick either Electro or Yellow Jacket. And Yellow Jacket used to be straightforward, and obviously he got buffed now, and now he first of all, he has that advantage against Mystic Champions where you get the debuffs from special attacks regardless whether they connect or not. And second of all, obviously that nuclear overload mode and stuff like that. So the advice here is Electro is easiest fight. Just basically stall and throw infinite amounts of level 1s, and eventually you can get up to about the best I have seen is just over 50% down in the first fight, and then 1 revive to finish it off. So there is that. Other than that, I took the Rage path, and the Rage path can be done with no revives as well. I died a couple of times, I think maybe 2 or 3 on the lane itself, just again because I was like rushing through it and obviously streaming it live. But it definitely can be done without any revives, just dropping in some potions. There are several fights where you can actually like heal back up, like against King Groot. Good old trick of eating his level 1 when he has like a Fury active. And then, you get a permanent armor break placed on you, and you can heal by willpower, stuff like that. there are no really hard fights. Some of them can be a bit tricky, but straightforward. And the boss obviously is the entire reason why this challenge exists, because Loki was one of the original answers to that boss, where you steal his buffs, his Mega Furies, his power gain, his regens, and it has historically been kind of one of the jokes, cheeses, whatever, call it as you will. And I like that. I like the fact that this challenge represents a very great amount of self-awareness, and
that one, I'll say I even had to use, I think I had to use a 4-star Loki back in the day, because I didn't even have a 5-star back then to do that boss. And yeah, it was nice to see that they kind of brought, what's the word? They brought back to like
the walk down the memory lane to it.
Memory lane.
Several of these challenges are like the
Star-Lord one?
The Star-Lord ones like that as well. So
yeah.
So I like this one a lot, and it can be done with the minimal item usage. And the good thing about these first 3 that I did not mention is that they are 3 stars, and they are very, very cheap and easy to heal up because their health pools are minimal. Hence why you should always heal them up rather than risk having to revive. The revive is as valuable on a 3-star champion. Sorry, the revive basically represents much higher value on 5 or 6-star champions than it does on 3 stars, because you gain a lot more additional health from it. So you should try to always heal up the 3 stars, because it's very cheap and cost-effective way.
Yeah, very cheaper, much cheaper.
Yes.
Revives cost the same for everybody.
Yeah, and that one I did like. So let's move on to the Act 6 ones. And Act 6 ones overall, I think, were probably the most successful ones. Start with the 1992 till 1997 one, which is basically you need to do 615, which is, again, interestingly enough, one of those like pain points of people becoming cavaliers, like the roadblock quest.
That's the Mordo. That's the Mordo one, right?
No, that's the Crossbones one.
Sorry, 615. Sorry,
yeah, 615.
I was thinking 62.
Yeah, that's the Crossbones one. And you can basically only use the original X-Men cartoon champions, the everybody's favorite cartoon.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
Yeah, exactly that. So you have Beast, you have Cyclops, you have Gambit, Jubilee, Nightcrawler, Rogue, Wolverine, and Storm that you can use. And this one was probably the easiest one, and I didn't even have like a stacked team or anything like that. I had rank 4 Wolverine, who I barely used. I had rank 4 Rogue, and then I brought in like rank 3 Gambit, rank 3 Jubilee, and rank 3 Nightcrawler. But honestly, if you have like Rogue,
like heavy lifter, wasn't
it? Yeah. Rogue soloed the Crossbones, and along the way she has infinite sustainability, and it was no items, easy peasy. Just go and get it done. Grab your rewards, and I like this one. I like this challenge a lot. Then
watching you do that one made me remember how much I love Rogue.
That is a fair point. Also, like few quick tips, because there's not too much to talk about this challenge in particular, aside the fact that I think it's awesome. Remember that any champion can actually do that Crossbones. I know a lot of people are complaining, I don't have Rogue. Any champion can do that fight, especially now. With the key aspect that you can auto-damage any regen Crossbones get. But now it's easier because it's Arc Overload instead of Vigor. So he regens a lot less.
Right.
Most importantly, any champion can do that fight with the condition that you have willpower active. Because the poison on Crossbones node is basically directly calibrated to 100% of your max health, and then it stops. So it lasts for 1 minute, and you're meant to die as soon as that minute ends. However, if you do have willpower active, then you will be left with like 10 or 20%. So long as you enter that fight with any champion, and I probably should make this into a video, which I might do. But so long as you enter that fight with any champion that's at max health, at end of that poison cycle, after 1 minute, you will be left with like 10% health or something, thanks to willpower. And so, obviously, granted, you have to play like a ninja. You can't take any block damage and stuff like that. But thanks to Power Struggle, it's actually quite a bit easier. And then you can do it. You can literally do that fight like Cyclops or Gambit or Storm or whoever. And yeah, it is doable. You do not have to have Rogue or Wolverine to get it done. You just need to have access to willpower.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that one was a fun one to watch. Like I said, it was interesting to see Rogue like just dominate. Like it reminded me whenever, because I used to use my 4-star maxed Rogue a lot for early content. Even when I first started doing Map 5, before when Map 6 was a new map, I was doing Map 5 and in Alliance Quest, and I used 2 rogues. I had a 5-star rogue, but she wasn't duped, and then I had my 4-star. So I used to have both of them on my team along with X23, and that was my
Yeah, there
my
was a time
go-to
when Rogue
team.
was top class.
She was, oh man. And anyway, just watching you play her made me say, damn, I really want to rank my 5-star rogue now. Like, I think I have a rank 3, but I wouldn't mind putting her in rank 4 with like one of those old
Yeah,
gems.
exactly. That can be done, and yeah, rank 4 is more than enough. As I said, I only had like rank 4,
Yeah.
put on the boost, and it was easy, like one shot. I have seen it done with the rank 3 as well. Obviously, then it was much longer. But yeah, that challenge is good. Another side note, you do go to the left side path, which is considered to be the easy path, which ends with like Old Man Logan and Winter Soldier. And Winter Soldier has like buffet node, but you can actually do that entire fight without ever triggering a buff, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's
Right,
awesome.
let's move on quickly to the Super Punch-Out. Now, this one was a bit trickier. Now, I know that we do have, obviously, Sweden, a handful of other players who have one-shotted that collector with Kamala and stuff like that. I did not practice, and obviously, I had never really played Kamala Khan before, so collector did take my number a couple of times. Getting to the collector with only Kamala wasn't too bad. I think I only used 1 or 2 revives on magic. You can get that fight done in 1 or no revives if you have rank 5 Kamala. The trick to that is max pacify and petrify and only drop heavy attacks.
AT real quick.
Yeah.
Champion, not collector.
Sorry, yeah, champion. My bad.
I know we're talking about a lot of things. I just wanted to help you out.
It's all good. And then rest of the fights were one shots to the champion boss, and champion boss itself was a bit tricky. I was learning as I went along. I probably died, I don't know, 5 to 10 times. Towards the end, it wasn't too bad. And the fight's perfectly doable. Obviously, we all do have video reference materials, how you can get it done, but the base idea is you want to have as many Furies as possible active by spamming level 1 or charging heavy attack during champion special attacks, and then using your level 1s to nullify the unstoppable and yeah, beat his face in.
And now you've got a lovely rank 5 Kamala Khan.
You don't have to do that. Let me make it perfectly clear. If you are willing to...
I like how you have to preface that. No, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Does she need the dupe?
No, she does. Kamala does not need a dupe. That's one. Number 2, you do not have to take her to rank 5. I know people have done it with rank 4. I know plenty of people who have done it with rank 4 or rank 1 6-star. That is perfectly fine. It's just going to be obviously harder, some more items, but it's definitely doable. Another quick tip for Kamala fight against the champion boss is champion boss regenerates quite a lot, and he regenerates based on the total damage dealt to him in the fight. So the longer the fight lasts, the more potent that the regen can become. So my personal advice is, even if you are doing very well, to quit out mid-fight at some point just to reset that regeneration. Because I have seen, I think I was watching actually Karate Mike do it live, and he got him down to like 50% or 40-something% in the middle phase. And then he started regenerating. The fight didn't go exactly how he planned it, and he went back up to like 70-something%. So if you do have like a very long fight, keep in mind that he stores up all of the damage dealt to him. That's the reason why Quake can't solo that guy, and you kind of have to quit out even if you're playing perfectly. A handful, like a couple of times. So my personal advice there is quit about midway through or a third in and do that. Use a couple of revives. Don't overdo it, because otherwise it can backfire, basically, is what I'm saying. And also, obviously, here's the saving grace, is that the champion fight is a lot easier than it originally was. and that
Yeah,
shows. You
yeah.
can parry a lot more. You can take more damage. He doesn't hit as hard. He doesn't like make you lose 30% of health through the block. Any of that stuff. So the fight is much more user friendly, and it was quite fun. I got my
Yeah.
ass kicked a bit, and that one's on me because I didn't practice. But
Well,
I liked it.
what I'll say about that though is it is nice that that's much easier now than what it used to be, because that was the biggest thing. Is it used to be, um, that was like a gatekeep for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Well, it
Kind of
still
like
is.
how the
It still is.
crossbones was.
But
Well, yeah, it's not an easy fight by any means. Let me back up. It's just not as hard as it used to be.
yep. And okay, then we can move on to the last one. The last one is very straightforward, very easy, which is the Astral Anger, and that is basically use only Cosmic Champions to defeat the worst Mordo ever introduced in the game, and I chose to go the path that starts with King Groot. Another path that is perfectly doable is the one that starts with Diablo, I believe. That's not too bad. And you can do the path with no revives, 100%. You can probably solo that boss as well with like Cosmic Ghost Rider, or at least get him down to like 1% and finish him off with another champion. I ended up using one revive for the boss. Cosmic Ghost Rider for the boss was my MVP, but due to Do Not Go Gentle, he wasn't really easy or convenient to use on the way there. I did use him for a couple of fights, but it was not really worth it. I did bring in team of like Hyperion, OG Thor, Silver Surfer, because I needed the shock immunity for one of the fights and stuff like that. But yeah, based on who you have available. And I do not want to undersell this challenge, because obviously I have fairly stacked roster, and if you don't, it will be harder. But it's again definitely doable. It's not too bad. And I liked it. I enjoyed it. And yeah, it was, I think, the very first challenge that I did. And it's fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It
felt like a challenge.
You did a good job with that one too.
Thanks. And
I remember, because that was right when these were starting,
yeah.
and you jumped in that one, and it was like, it was just nice to see that like you were able to do that no problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a good one.
It gave us hope.
Yeah, it's a good one. It was nice. But let's move on to the worst ones, and let's start with the, well, let's go in order, I guess, then. Dance Off, Labyrinth one, the most expensive challenge. My personal approach for all of the Labyrinth challenges was to take the shortest way possible to the boss, which might not necessarily be the easiest way, but it's definitely the shortest one. And given the idea that sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, I took the Star-Lord, Thor Jane Foster, Daredevil Hell's Kitchen, Venompool, Doctor Strange, Kamal Khan, Rocket, and then Master of Fight for all three of my LoL runs. I think that most of the people took the full easy path, but that was in pretty much every case that I have seen or heard significantly more expensive than what I did.
Right.
I don't think I have heard of people doing it for less revives than I did. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me, and it's not that I'm trying to pretend that I play better than somebody else. No, I think I'm extremely average when it comes to actual playing ability, but I do think that that is the best path to take, which is a point that I'm trying to make here, which I do feel is quite important.
Right.
Especially with Doctor Strange fight being currently, let's just say, significantly easier than it is intended due to Kabam's favorite pastime.
Right.
And the trickiest fight there on the way is probably Venompool because of the RNG Fiesta, and actually Daredevil Hell's Kitchen is very annoying fight. 100% just due to the new animations of level 1. He has new animations, but not the new abilities. So Star-Lord...
I was gonna say, that's probably the worst part.
Yeah. Star-Lord was 59 revives for me. And
woo! Still good though.
Yeah, I know. And with 59 revives, got it done. Took about 4 hours. That was the last one that I did. Overall, it's a definite unit sink. It's not the worst challenge, not as bad as Mike's Revenge, but it didn't feel great either, especially because you can't like bring in Synergy Team or anything. And you just die to the timer most of the time. Super annoying. So that is also the most expensive cleared there.
Yeah. The most expensive one out of the labyrinth.
Also,
yeah,
quick note for
Star-Lord.
the people that think that adding suicides is a good idea. I can immediately say that Suicide Masteries for Dance Off and O Canada are not particularly great, because champions who have a lot of attack modifiers in their own kit benefit very little from Suicide Masteries, because like their abilities do not calculate in the extra increased attack from Masteries. They just work from the base attack. And what's the best way to explain? At max SIG level, Star-Lord gains 5% attack per hit. So it means that Suicide Masteries in total give you 12 combo head start. Which is really not a lot when you're going for 150, 200, 220 combos in a fight. And it definitely isn't a lot when you consider how much health it costs and how many more potions you have to use and how many times you can't play by actually utilizing your special attacks, which is where a significant portion of your attack can and may come. So I do not recommend Suicide Masteries for Canadian one and for Star-Lord. I did use Suicide Masteries for a human one because, again, it's a different approach there.
Right. Well, then human ones, most of them are also poison immune.
Yeah, and
that kind of helps out too.
And Karnak heals from suicides as well, and Quake doesn't care for suicides in particular because you really don't throw special attacks. So yeah, that's the reason there. But yeah, Star-Lord one was the most expensive one, 59 revives. Quite a lot of headache. Canadian one, on the other hand, Canada one, was by far the cheapest and easiest and quickest labyrinth run. That one was only about 20, not about, exactly 26 revives. It only took 2.5 hours to get it done. The best strategy, hands down, for it is Max Sabertooth with Guardian Synergy. And I brought along, I think, Old Man Logan, Wolverine, and... sorry, not Guardian Synergy, with Sasquatch Synergy. And I brought along Guardian, Wolverine, and Old Man Logan for like additional synergy support.
Which you never even used Guardian. A lot of people were thinking you were going to, I remember.
Yeah, no. Guardian is not ranked as good as people think for that.
Well, just not for this one,
yeah. And Sabertooth is like a very, very, very good option. And again, I did take the same path I described before. Star-Lord to Venompool to Doctor Strange to Maestro.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I like that. That one, if there would be one Labyrinth of Legends challenge, this is the one that I'd pick. Think it was fun. I enjoyed it. Didn't feel too stale. Yes, 26 revives, still less than Mike's Revenge. And didn't feel like as big of a drag.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to the last one then. Inhuman Stamina. What do you think about this one?
I didn't think this one was... I think it could have been a lot worse. I know you quaked the hell out of some fights, to put it lightly. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I got to watch some highlights that I watched through it. I don't know. How many revives did it end up taking for you?
Well, that was the thing, because I was doing these all in one go. And because often it is very, very hard to utilize your team revives. So I made an executive decision. I ranked up one. I think I had to rank up Kamala and Karnak to rank 5.
Yeah.
And I, at that point, because I already had rank 5 Black Bolt, Medusa, and Quake.
Right.
So, thanks to that, and thanks to the fact that I had a ton of team revives expiring specifically, because it's typically very tricky to actually get a decent value out of them.
I never use them. Yeah.
And my plan was simply to put on Suicide Masteries, put on the big boosts, and use every single champion for every single fight, and use team revives exclusively, because I had them. Now, if I
Yeah.
didn't have any revives, I probably would not have taken that approach, or I maybe. But actually now, at this point, I think I can recommend everybody take that approach, because it did, in fact, work out very, very cheap.
Yeah. Well, that's
Because
like I said, I didn't think that one was horrible though.
it took a long time, obviously, because you got
Time
down like
consuming, yeah.
10, 12% with most of the champions, except like Medusa in most points. But yeah, it was relatively cheap, because again, I had all of those team revives that were gonna expire anyways. So I ended up using
Yeah.
16 team revives, and in the end, 2 single ones for the Maestro.
Yeah.
And
But
it
still,
took a
that's
while,
pretty good.
but 16 team revives, which to me in my head typically equates to 16 revives in general, was pretty much the cheapest run probably. And it took a while. I did like it quite a bit. Again, I took the same path as before: Starlord, Torgen, Foster, blah blah blah. And if you play well, because I did mess about quite a lot on like Venom Pool stuff like that, you can get every single fight down in like 1 or 2 team revives.
Yeah.
Even a 4-star max Quake and Suicides and Boost like Quake's down 10, 11, 12% in a fight and stuff like that. So you make progress, right?
Right.
And
Just a little bit, you whittle things down.
yeah, exactly. You kind of whittle them down. And that one I didn't mind too much, because I kind of enjoyed the idea of having to use Black Bolt in hard fights, having to use Karnak, stuff like that.
You know,
It didn't feel as daft as the 3-star Cyclops against Collector.
yeah, no, I was like, it was, and
It's long though.
we'll touch on this when we talk about it overall. But I mean, I kind of felt like that one was not the mean one by any means. That one was more of a just challenging yourself, doing some fights that
That one
maybe you wouldn't
is,
have done with certain champions.
yeah, and that one was more of an endurance test.
Yeah, especially because it just took longer. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what I feel like. The Labyrinth of Legends ones, a lot of those are like most people may take breaks in between them.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
if it's
I
off
did take
season and
breaks in
stuff.
between some of them.
Right. So nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking like a day break or something. Like,
Yeah.
maybe they go to bed and wake up in the morning and have some coffee and breakfast and then shower and then they do the rest of the fight or
Yeah,
something. So
okay.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, that was my personal story. As I said, full-on guides are gonna follow. Mystic Dispersed is definitely the one to start with the least roster requirements. Then 1992 and Astral Anger are all also very, very doable. Definitely the first 3 challenges to do: Mystic Dispersed, 1992, Astral Anger. Very little to minimum, well, to no items needed for them. Basically just go and have some fun and get very good rewards, because yeah, you get like 40% TF5 CC selectors from that. You get half TF5B, 5-star Kamala, 500,000 gold, 15,000 6-star shards. Very good, great event initially. Then it gets harder, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I think overall, and you kind of said it in the video you made about going over it and such, was that this was exactly what in-game players needed, and it didn't cost a lot of resources for them. They didn't have to make new content or anything. They were able to kind of make spins on existing content by putting some limitations that gave out really good rewards.
Yeah, I think it's long overdue, and that's why I actually don't feel like bad at all for anybody whose this content is not for, because this can literally be done by one intern in an afternoon. It doesn't require any developing time or skills or anything, so I don't feel like it has taken off from any players. And it's permanent piece of content. Everybody will have access to it. Everybody can do it for free eventually. My personal advice for, let's say, progressing player, let's say you just become Thronebreaker, you have one rank 3, is to do the Mystic Dispersed, 1992, Astral Anger, leave the rest of them for a while, focus on your exploration of variants, focus on exploration of Act 7 and whatever else you want to do, and then slowly, periodically come back to these once you have rebuilt your stash. And as much as Mike's Revenge is a shit thing to have to do and dance off and stuff like that, and are effectively item sinks, but you can do them one by one slowly, which is the best way to approach them. And like for me, again, I went through 15 months in this game and watching my items expire. I re-explored Abyss. I redid a ton of stupid things in this game just for like the sake of making videos and stuff like that. And it's depressing. Now finally having basically no stash, and today I'm actually kind of like actively auto-playing fights and stuff like that to like rebuild a tiny bit of units because I have a ton of energy refills to use up and revives to hunt and stuff like that. I'm enjoying a game 1,000 times more than I was a week ago. I'm telling you that much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, nice. Well, I think I want to say a big congratulations and a big thank you to for what you've done so far to help people that are going to be going through this content, because they can at least have a guide in the live streams. And then I know you're going to be doing a more detailed one throughout.
Yeah.
But definitely a big thank you to doing it as quick as possible. As much taking my personal sadness I was not able to see even half of them out of the play, I still am very happy for you. And it shows me that I have a ways to go till I'm at your skill level, but it gives me something to work towards. But it also helps me say, I'm very happy that I'm able to help out on your streams, because what you do to help out the community with stuff like that, just it's insane. And you really, yes, I know you like wore yourself out over the last like in that 36-hour, 37-hour window when you were doing all this, but you need to thank yourself, dude, and you need to take care of yourself a little bit more this next week, because you've burned yourself out a lot. I know that. But you've done a lot for the community, and whether or not people say thank you or they give you thumbs down in videos because they're just whatever reason, you're doing the benefit. And I think everybody here really appreciates that. And I know me personally, I appreciate that. And I'm lucky to know someone like you that actually goes and helps people. So
Thank
thanks,
you,
man.
but also like to pick you up a bit more and cheer you up, I think as several people got to step in for you like momentarily for like an hour or two or for a stream or two, I think
Yeah.
everybody after that obviously also has much more appreciation for you and how well you do what you do, because obviously everybody did their best and I'm super grateful and they did well considering the circumstances. The difference was quite evident there as well, and I believe every single person who watched those streams with somebody else on the call, and especially the people who jumped on the call as I was doing these challenges, because obviously my focus was on the challenges, definitely noticed the difference and definitely realized how tricky it is to accommodate my needs and me blubbering in the middle and interrupting to me ranting away at times and sometimes chat going super crazy, and your ability to kind of like compose yourself, catch up to that chat, and to kind of like be quick on your feet and with your tongue. So
Well, no, I appreciate that. And as Joe, and most of the jealousy was joking, by the way, everybody. I was disappointed that I missed the streams. That's just me being
and
disappointed. That's me
with
personally.
that point,
But
I also I just
yeah,
kind of felt compelled to do them. Like
which is fine. I
as I
understand. I
finished one
can't fault
stream,
you.
I could not focus on anything else or think about anything
Yeah.
else than to get the next one done. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, I can't fault you for that, because like that's how I am when I'm doing something that I really am passionate about too. So I can't fault you for that. But what I do want to say is everybody that did step in, JJ and Jacob, and am I missing anybody else?
Vladimir Petrol.
Okay, yeah, all of them. Thank you very much for doing that, because I know KT appreciated it. And just know that I I try to do the best I can. I know you all did the best you could too. And obviously, I've been doing this day in and day out for 9 months now, so it's not like I was like this overnight. But I'm glad that you guys were there for KT, because at the end of the day, the reason why I'm here is not for my own ego. It's to help the community and help KT so he can focus on what he does and also answer a bunch of questions and such. So, obviously, if you all were able to help him do that, like I said, that's the truth is I'm glad that somebody was there, because I can't stay up the hours he does, plus do everything I like to do during the day when he's sleeping. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you had people that were able to do that and step up and help you out. So
Yeah,
I do appreciate
super
them as
happy
well.
about all the support and love and help that I got while I was doing those. But with that, we need to go over the last subject, and we're not gonna have too much time to discuss this one. So we actually might end up making like a bonus extended discussion about these subjects, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps some other time.
Maybe tomorrow. We could do it a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah,
but
we could
just hit the points.
40,
the real thing I know what we want to talk about is the one thing, but we can just kind of instead of going through, we can just mention like what are changing, and then we can give our thoughts maybe tomorrow. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, well, we can kind of like give very like brief point by point. What do you think about that? What's changing? I'll quickly read up the summary of what's changing, and then you're gonna give your thoughts. I'll give my thoughts quickly. I'm gonna jump on that, and
I'm good.
maybe
I've got
actually
time.
tomorrow we can record the first video as a duo.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, we could do that. Like before a stream in the evening.
Yeah,
we could just record one, upload video, and then go live a bit later or something.
We don't have Alliance Quest. We don't have anything going on. So yeah, hell yeah, I'm up for anything, man.
Okay, so I'm not gonna read the flavor text. The base idea, first and foremost, they talk a bit more about Chapter 2. Turns out Grandmaster is gonna be the boss with Grandmaster Special 2, which is gonna be absolutely freaking terrifying.
Yeah,
but they do
it's
reveal
still gonna
that.
Be cool to see it.
But
a lot of people haven't seen it that haven't done Abyss, so it's kind of cool they get. to
No,
see
that's
it
not
now.
Abyss. That's the Act 6 one.
Oh no, that's right, Act 6. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. I know what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. I obviously have seen it if they're doing this, but it's cool to see it again. I guess that's cool.
And the biggest reveal there is that Chapter 3 is coming in October. Maybe slightly later than I expected. I probably hope for September something, but again, based on everything that's coming in like June and whenever.
That's about 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly about 5 or 6 months. Yeah, it's not too bad.
But yeah, anyways, Chapter 3 is coming in October, so we know that. By the sound of it, it looks like they reference the first like big villain of the contest, which was Kang. So it looks like Kang's gonna be back. But that's not.
So kind of, I think it's gonna be that new Kang we saw in the promo video at the end of last year.
And that is what we know. Now back issues they have scaled back, and back issues we're meant to have 3 a year. We're not gonna have 3. We're gonna have 2, which one we already have had, and we're gonna have 1 more in November, so a month after 7.3. And actually, I'll be honest, I'm kind of happy. Because the last variant didn't land for me. I realized that I'm kind of over them. At the very least, if they stay at the difficulty level that they are. And
I'm a little disappointed, and here's why. Because 7.3 is coming out after 7.2 and after Variant 7. But Variant 7 came out before 7.2, yet Variant 8 is coming out after 7.3, so we're going to have 2 more Act 7 chapters before we get another. Like, we should have been getting the number 9 in November and, like, number 8 in July.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
But again, I just don't care for them as much. I'll be honest. Like, on a personal note.
This is something. I know, this is where you and I are going to differ. I do look forward to the variant still, because I'm not at that skill level where. Well, this last one, I did feel it was stale and rushed and wasn't as good as the other ones. I still enjoy that content because it's something I know I can do, and it's permanent. I can always go back to it. Plus, I know that there's different fights and different stipulations.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the mini version of Carina's challenge for people that aren't quite at that level.
I get it, and I don't dislike them. I still enjoy the variants, and I think they're a cool addition. But I just what's the best way to put it? I don't have as much feeling towards them, anticipation, expectation. I don't think and look at them as that big of a deal. It's kind of like neat, and I'm okay with that. Initially I was like, but they promised us, but they're not delivering. But then I'm like, you know what? I don't even like them that much anymore.
I just hope that means that maybe we'll get Variant 9 in like January or February.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not January, but maybe February or March. Maybe that's what we'll get Variant 9. I'm hoping, because it needs to be pretty quick after that, because we need to have 2 variants come out between 7.3 and 7.4 is what I'm saying.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. I know.
Yeah. Okay, so Carina's challenge we're not going to talk about. We just discussed it in length. The Grandmaster's Gauntlet. Now that is effectively, to break it down, it's coming in June. So first of all, that's good. It's coming next month.
Yep.
And to briefly characterize it, it's effectively another Abyss path with nameless Thanos as a boss.
God, that's gonna suck so much ass. I hate
I
being able
look
to stay on
forward
as
to
a-
it. I'm gonna
know you
whoop
do.
that nameless boy to shreds. He's gonna take
I
my
know
number a
you
couple of
are.
times. Eventually, I'll get him down, and I will do it quick. I promise you that.
I know you are. You're gonna do it quick, and I hate my life already because of that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm sure I'll attempt it and probably cry.
But yeah, so the idea is that there will be 20 fights, 19 regular ones, one boss fight, all Abyss style, so you can count on large health pools, all that other stuff. And we don't have any more specific details for it, but I look
Ooh,
forward to it. I will
there's
get
one
it.
other thing that's not mentioned in this
Mm-hmm.
about that I know about the Grandmaster's Gauntlet that you may want to share. This is breaking news, not heard anywhere else as far as I know. KT will be streaming it live on day 1, and I'll be here helping him.
Yes.
Duh.
That's probably accurate. Unless I'm like, dying somewhere.
Well,
I'll
come
probably
on,
still stream
come
it if
on.
I'm stabbed in the neck,
I don't want you. I don't want. Let's not think the negatively. Plus, June is my birthday
Yeah.
month, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
1 month before yours,
So
so
yeah,
yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there and I'll get it done, and I'm happy for it. And it's a nice big piece of content that effectively, by its wording, should basically look like a path of Abyss.
Yeah, Motaz Kingpin. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, next
Okay,
thing.
the Summer of Pain, and this one I like a lot. Basically, from June till August, so for 3 months straight, every single week, we are going to get a boss fight. That's tricky, hard, blah blah blah, and there will also be some sort of solo objectives that will probably force us to use again like 3-star Cyclopses or whatnot, and throw our phones against the wall. And this is perfect because I have long complained that Malcon's Champion is effectively dead for every month in weeks 3 and 4, unless there's like a massive piece of content coming. Like this month, we're gonna have week 3 drop of 7.2, obviously. Therefore, the entire month we're gonna have plenty of stuff to do. But in general, in like every other month, when it starts, some
Well,
events come,
it's the
stuff
month
like
when there's not. It's the months when there's not a variant. There's not a new act chapter coming
yeah,
out. When
even
there's
with the
not a
last variant, again,
challenge.
for me personally, it was kind of like variant
I
came
know,
and
but I'm
it
just
didn't hit
saying
the
it's
spot.
something new. It's
Yeah.
something new though.
Yeah, and I like that. So we're gonna have a new single standalone fight for like 3 months straight, with some sort of challenges. Love it. Hope the fights are good. Hope they're all like nameless Thanoses and things like that, and Grandmasters
Shut
and
up.
whatever not.
Shut your mouth.
And
Shut your
we're gonna
mouth.
have some fun there. So
I
Prologue
don't want to hear.
Initiative.
I don't want to hear nameless.
If you're listening to this, it probably doesn't concern you too much. I'm happy that they're doing it because I hope for the best for the game. It's basically that they're going to be revamping the first 3 acts, changing them up, making them more instructional and function as guides, and accelerating new player progression to getting to Uncollected, which is perfect. Very good, and not much else to say there. Great going. I don't particularly care. Alliance War entire plan is a bit of a disappointment. We were promised a full revamp. We're not getting that. Only thing that we are getting for sure is some quality of life updates in the form of persistent, like Alliance War boosts now being a permanent thing with a purchase limit, so we're not gonna have to randomly wait and hope that pop up. Undo button, energy cap increase to 6 and 45-minute timers, and slight adjustment to AW tiers. Now, they do talk about new nodes and some other things, but in general, everything seems to be the same old, same old. Not too much immediately changing to Alliance Wars. There will be extended off-season that you need to be aware of. So when this season ends, which is, I believe, in what, like 2 weeks from now or something?
2 weeks from this Wednesday, yes.
Yes. There will be a longer off-season. But that is fine because we're going to have 7.2 and stuff, so...
Yeah, the 26th, the week before that is when 7.2 comes out. The 26th is whenever the Alliance War ends, and then it'll be a longer break. Which
again is fine.
Did it say how many weeks? I forgot. Did it say
no,
how
they
many
did
weeks?
not say. They just said extended.
Usually it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
because normally it's 2, so it's usually like 3 or 4.
But that's fine again
We've never
because
seen
we're gonna
longer than
have
4.
Summer of Pain and the Gauntlet and all the other bells and whistles.
All that good stuff.
Solo competitive mode. So for those of you who watched Summoner Showdown, you'll know exactly how it functions. For those of you who didn't, the point is, for the first time ever, we're gonna have like a proper solo competitive mode, probably with like leaderboard stuff like that. And the idea is that you're gonna pick and ban champions for your opponent to face off against. layer on different buff combinations, and basically compete one against another. Obviously, you're not fighting against anybody in reality, so the idea of this solo competitive mode is like you having a chess match where you have an opportunity to outwit, to outsmart your opponent by giving them harder fights than they are giving you, or playing better than they are playing. So that is like the key distinction, that either one of these strategies works. So ideally, you want to be a mixture of both, very good player and very tactically sound and know exactly your plan. Obviously, one can compensate for another to a degree, but you'll need both to be like top, and it does sound quite exciting. I do hope, and here is the biggest hope I have for it, that it doesn't take 3 hours to do like one fight round. Like, for instance, the part of the reason why I hate incursions is just because it takes so goddamn long. Tons of like drop down selection menus.
I'm
all this stuff.
I'm wondering if it's like one of those things where you get matched. It's like, I wonder if it's gonna be similar to like war matching, but quicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where you set everything, and then like, but also kind of like a cross between that, duels, and arena, where like your team is always out there with the rules you set into place, and people, when they say they want to fight, it can match with them based on the skill level and stuff, like all the time. So there's always a rolling, like you may have multiple teams out there at all points in time that people could fight against, but you know, based on what you've picked. You know what I mean?
So we're gonna have
I
to
don't know.
see exactly how it works, how like final
Yeah, we'll see
judgment.
how it
But
works.
overall, I do find it as a positive addition to the game and something that
yeah, it'll be interesting. It's basically what I was saying was real like PvP, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alliance Quest, well, we're gonna have officer tools, which I
Which
personally
is awesome.
have zero care about, but many officers are loving, which is very, very important, because officers are important. We need to love them more.
Well,
and
the one thing you should care about it seems like you're going to be able to say every variation we want to run this, this, and this. Every day we want to run this modifier.
Yeah, you basically can set up your entire AQ week before it starts.
So in other words, you won't have to wait for someone to start it. It'll just end and start, and you won't have to worry about that anymore. Like, so that you should care about, because that'd be really nice. But yeah, and then of course
it's a nice addition. I was just like being tongue in cheek. It's also a nice addition.
I know. It's not something that affects you directly because you don't deal with it. I understand.
But it's good for the game.
But fall, this is what we were thinking may happen sometime soon.
Yeah, and map 8's coming, and that in itself, again, I'm kind of relatively indifferent. Will I play map 8? 100%, regardless of how bad or whatever it is. But we can't really judge it too much. I hope that Kabam is actually taking the lessons they have learned so far in fight design. I hope that we do not have to resort to Horus timeouts and things like that, like we still have to do with map 7. So I do think that they actually make the fights doable. Because AQ effectively...
question?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, no, go ahead. Finish your thought first.
The thought is that AQ effectively, no matter how much Kabam is going to try and how much they try and how good it is, AQ is much more of a chore than anything else. And it will always be. There is nothing they can do to keep Alliance Quest fresh every week all the time. Map 7 came out. It was fun for a month or 3 weeks, and then it got stale because it is a chore. It's something you have to do week in and week out. They change something about it. They add new nodes. It feels relatively more fun and fresh, and they change up the bosses, and there's a bit of interest in it. And they add in variations. It feels a bit fun for a bit, and then after 2 or 3 weeks, it goes fresh. I think Kabam needs to abandon the idea that it's some sort of challenge or a test of skill and take Alliance Quest for what it is. It is a chore. It is a chore.
Yeah.
It's a cost of being competitive or active in the game. It's one of the core foundations, and it is perfectly fine because it's not overly time consuming, and they are making it better with removing links and things like that, and that is fine. Fine with all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
My only problem is, and I'm not one of those people who wants things easy for me. I think people who watched my channel for the last couple of days will see the type of attitude I have towards content. When it comes to Alliance Quest, I want none of that shit. I want none of that timing out with Corvuses or having like insanely tricky mini-boss fight stuff like that. You don't need that. Why? Because that's a chore, not a challenge.
Yeah. I was going to say, with map 8, do you think they should move to 5-minute timers? It'll be annoying if you have to do the Corvus timeouts, obviously, but do you think they should move to 5-minute timers, similar to where War goes from 3 minutes to 5 minutes once you get to the upper tiers?
Not. It could work, but again, it sucks for no. Also, but what I think here is, I don't think they should ever at any point construct a fight or a map where that should matter.
Okay, I got what you're saying. It should be able to all be won within 3 minutes.
It should all be won within 3 minutes or significantly under, because again, it's chore. It's the first thing you do in the morning. It's something you do whilst pretending to be on a toilet. It's something you do after you finish your work. It's always a chore. You don't want to spend more time than you have to, and you don't want to stress about it more than you have to. And playing map 7 is not about being skillful. It's not about any of those things. It's about having the prestige and being an alliance that can do it and wants to do it and wants to stay competitive.
Yeah.
They need to abandon the idea of putting difficult, challenging hard fights. They need to put in quick, fun, snappy fights in AQ. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I get what you're saying.
Making AQ hard never has worked and never will work. Because again, it's not a challenge.
It's not supposed to be a challenge. No, it's supposed to be just ways to do something with your team. Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean.
And that's it. If they have learned that lesson, I'm going to be perfectly fine with it. But that should be the base idea about any AQ fight. Even the mini boss fights. Okay, make them longer, but don't make them stupidly hard and stupidly specific. Make them snappy, doable.
Yeah.
Okay, so arenas now the big thing, and I'm gonna have another big video coming up. So to basically break it down, we're not gonna have 5 arenas anymore, because currently we have 3-star, 4-star, 5-star featured hero arena and a 4-star basic arena, plus like that summoner 2-star thingy arena. I don't even know how it's called, that nobody does. But basically they're gonna condense 5 arenas into 3 arenas. We're gonna have 1 to 4-star champions for generic stuff that you can add, like 4-star nexus and stuff like that. And then we're gonna have featured and basic arena, which both can award you up until a 6-star champion. Right. Then also a 5-star champion. 3 and 4-star champions are in milestones now, which is quite a neat break. So top 100 in both basic or featured arena gets the 6-star. 101st gets till 500 gets the 5-star champion. You can use 4 till 6-star champions in these 2 main arenas. Amount of units that you earn has gone up by incredible 5, but the arenas have been condensed. So arena grinds are about to change significantly. You're gonna have to get used to new routines, new divides, which champions you use where, because like for instance for me, which champions I used where was very straightforward. 6 stars in featured 5-star arena, 5 stars in featured 4-star arena, 4 stars in 4-star basic arena, 3 stars in the featured 3-star arena, and 2 stars in that tiny whatever arena it was called. So now you're gonna have to figure out and work your split. Now whether it's gonna work better or worse, there is a lot of debate for that, because you're gonna how to grind differently.
Yeah, it's just going to be different, something different to learn. Obviously, I hope they don't take away the ability to do infinite combo, like not combo.
Because that could be a legit concern, and there are a lot of things that we actually need to see how it will work. But from idea standpoint, obviously 6-star arenas is exactly what this game needed. Whether this is the best format for that remains to be seen. But I, for one, am super happy 6-star arenas are here. I'm not 100% sure whether I'm happy for how they have arrived.
Yeah.
But also the fact that it's a featured hero and basic hero is very, very interesting. For instance, next week is going to be, well, not next week. Yeah, next week. It's going to start with Shang-Chi and Falcon, which is going to be a very interesting test, because you can either get a 6-star Falcon or a 6-star Shang-Chi. So it's going to be interesting to see the divide, split, scores, everything else. A lot of unknowns here.
Yep.
I do think, though, that arena grinders with smaller rosters will be in quite significantly higher disadvantage now.
Yeah.
And that is a legit problem. Because previously 6 stars could only be used in one of the arena.
Yeah, that's gonna be. It's gonna be. You're gonna have to choose now.
You're gonna have to choose first and foremost, and the fact that the 6 stars are basically involved in every single arena now is gonna inherently
That's gonna
mean
be
that,
difficult.
for instance,
Yeah.
I will have much easier time either picking up all the milestones or grinding for 5 stars or 6 stars than people who don't have as big roster. Now, it to a degree has always been true in this game, but now it's going to be emphasized more in these arena grinds.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know that.
Also,
I don't know.
another. Sorry, yeah, carry on.
No, I just was saying I'm gonna have to see it in action to see what
Yeah,
it feels
obviously.
like before I can tell.
One of the key aspects is also we need to see how high the milestones go and what is the split in between them.
Right.
Like currently,
also
the
don't-
highest milestone is like 12 million in the featured 5-star arena, and you can already
Right.
imagine and guess that they're gonna be higher.
Yeah, they'll probably be. I don't know if they'll go to the 20 million, but I would see 18 somewhere around there, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the only thing I'm a little worried about is the fact that the 6-star featured that they're only doing the top 100, where every time they've launched like the 5-star feature, it was top 150, and they just expanded it to 300, recently. And I'm like, why did they only do 100? And it's because they just don't want people to get the 6-star without paying, and that's kind of what it comes down to. But it kind of
It
sucks.
will definitely, obviously, go very high for 6-star champions.
It's gonna go triple millions easily.
Yeah.
Over 100 millions easily every week.
Yeah. Well, I think eventually it's gonna. We'll see. Again, there's a lot unknown. I will make a separate video going for ins and outs of it. I don't know whether I'm probably gonna wait till I actually see the arenas to properly discuss and stuff like that. But 6-star arenas are here, so that is great in itself. Again, whether they're doing it right, whether they're doing it good for the players, and how it is going to work, a lot of unknowns there. Right, let's quickly move on. Alliance raids, not much to say there. They are not overselling this game mode at all by calling it Crown Jewel in top tier Alliance game. So basically, new replacement for war, maybe to a degree or something. I don't know how it's going to work out, but basically, Alliance raids are coming. Listed as 2022, therefore not too urgent, not too much information given. So, screw them.
Right.
Now, the biggest disappointment of this entire thing is Masteries. We are getting new Masteries, we're getting loadouts and more flexibility and whatever, yada yada yada. But the fuckers are postponing it to 2022.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. This
like
immediately
now.
made my blood boil. This is the one thing that had to get done for us to like what they're doing, and they're inept and they're delaying it, and they promised this like 3 years ago and they still haven't delivered it, and now they're putting it a year in the future, and I hate it. Let me put it
There's
like
nothing you can say.
Anything that they said here, I like. I hate how long is it's taking them for them to do, and I hate that this is not a bigger priority for them.
It's really annoying. It's annoying because we did a survey a year ago for this.
It's just like you don't understand. This is one of those things that leaves your head scratching. Like 2022 Masteries, so no Mastery changes this year, which fucking sucks. I'm sorry, there's no other. There's no other way to put it.
They can wait till the end of the year.
Huh?
If they say 2022, they can wait till the end of the 2022. It could be almost 2023.
Yeah, well, yeah, it could be year and a half. It could be 9 months, whatever. It sucks, man. It generally sucks. No matter what they say there, the fact that whatever is coming in 2022 is shit, because this is long overdue and this game has the most shit archaic mastery system. I have played games that are made in the past millennia that has better mastery systems.
Yeah.
Games made pre-year 2000. Games that were made when I was 10 years old. I've had much better mastery systems.
It doesn't
it's shit.
Make sense
to me, like, again, everything that's listed there is good, But the fact that it's not here yet, the fact that it's not coming this year is fucking awful, and somebody should get a broom shoved up their rectum.
Yeah, it's
If they can introduce relics in 2021, they could have pushed that shit to 2022 and put
Oh,
Masteries.
don't get me started with that.
And obviously, because that's the next point. But in general, I think Masteries should have been much bigger priority than it is, and they just seem to have some sort of half-assed approach to it. And I hate it. It's one of the most hated things about this game for pretty much every single player. It legitimately ruins a lot of people's game experience when you feel actively dissuaded not to change your masteries and not to do many things in this game because it costs so much and takes so long. And if you play this game like towards an endgame level where you have to change your, like I, for instance, have to change my masteries every single time I place lines for defense. I have to change my masteries every single time I do. Well, it just sucks, man. Fuck them.
It's
I have nothing good to say here. Just like fuck them. Should have been done already.
I could go on a tirade.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not
so
going to. But yeah, it's just stupid. It's just bullshit.
It's what it is. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on relics, and this is the scariest shit ever. This is as big as the 6-star announcement. This is basically the biggest thing that they have ever announced, and the scariest thing that they possibly have ever announced. And this might actually kill the game, or at the very least make me quit the game. Or it might work out okay. The problem is that we do not know. What we do know that is that this is the third time they are trying to introduce relics, gears, weapons, whatever, call them as you will. And first 2 times we had a very large community backlash for it. This time there's not much of it. And again, there are 2 reasons I think people are not protesting as actively as they did before. Number 1 is they do not want to lose their 6-star rosters being as important because they don't want 7 stars to come. And truth to be told, this is an alternative option for 7 stars. Number 2, I also genuinely do believe that it's because vast majority of the larger content creators are in CCP and they have been just told not to criticize it. I also know for a fact any post on Kabam forums that is critical of relics gets immediately deleted. So they're actively trying to pretend that everybody's okay with that. But the base point is relics as, again, are gears, weapons. They're described here as individual mastery points for individual mastery abilities for your champions. And it sounds good on paper, but when you realize that there's going to be a heavy monetization aspect to this, which can be ruined. And let's be fair here, giving a chance to relics is okay. It might work out okay. It might work out great. As I said, this is one of the three possible scenarios where this game's headed. Either this game dies, either this game gets 7-star heroes, or we get relics. It's one of the 3 things. Obviously, Kabam doesn't want the game to die, so they have to pick in between introducing 7-star heroes quickly or introducing relics. Now, on personal note, I hated the way they rolled out 6 stars, but I still prefer the evil that I know over the evil that I don't know. I'd be much more comfortable starting slowly to rebuild my top tier roster with 7 stars than I am with relics, because I see this as an infinite hole for bugs. I see this as infinite possibility for very unfair monetization of the content. I see this as a possible absolute destruction of free-to-play or low-tier spenders. And also, given the fact that MROC quite famously has the shittiest relic system ever presented in any game, any relatively known game, as said by many content creators, I am fucking bricking it.
Yeah, I'm the same way right now. This could be the death of the game for me, depending on how they do it.
This could be the best thing ever, or it could be the death of the game. There is kind of like no real in-between possibility. Either they can do it well and reasonable and not overdo it and limit their powers and not get too carried away with the monetization aspects and roll it out carefully, in which case it could work out very, 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 very great and everybody gets what they want. The game keeps to be interesting. We got the items and stuff that we keep to chase. We don't need to introduce 7-star heroes quickly, and there are more layers and depths to the game. However, it's very easy for this to become the worst shit ever.
Yeah. It really is. It's kind of frustrating.
It's kind of like, imagine playing. What's a good example of Omega Red with and without suicides, right?
Yeah, right.
So Omega Red without suicides is a completely different champion than it is with suicides. A completely different power level. And imagine every champion has a relic that has that big of an impact. And there are tiers to this, and they can introduce different abilities. Some of them might be just like 500 extra attack or some extra crit rate, but some of them might be, as they described here, mastery-like abilities. And it's kind of like, right now you have a champion that you obtain, and then you have to awaken it to fully access the champion's abilities and sing him up. And then imagine on top of that, another 3 or 4 tiers. Getting a champion means very little to nothing. Awakening champion means very little to nothing if you don't have the relic. Getting the relic might mean very little to nothing, because on top of the highest value relics, there will be strikers, which is quite weird choice. And obviously there will be different rarity buffs and stuff like that that you get to add in there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I'm worried.
I'm very worried. This announcement immediately ruined all my feels for this entire roadmap. Up until that point, I was like, okay, cool, that's cool. Okay, Masteries 2022, I'm pissed off about that, but there's plenty of good stuff coming, so I'll bear with it. But this is quite literally an existential problem. And I'm surprised that hardly anybody's talking about it.
Yeah, probably because we just don't know much about it yet, but still, it's...
Well, every other time they mentioned relics, everybody went apeshit. Yeah. This is the third time they're trying to do this.
This is... I don't even know what to say. You know what I mean?
Here we have a comment from a player. I played MROC for a few weeks, and once I realized how shite the gear system is, I deleted it on the spot. And that's the thing. Relics are the gear system with different rarities, with different equipables, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the problem, is if they make it just as bad as that, this game will go downhill very fast. Now the next question will be, if they do that and they notice it, will they reverse it? I don't know. They could possibly kill this game by making it just as crappy as our MROC.
Yeah. So we'll see. Well, have to live and see. All I'm going to say is there will more than likely be KT2 channel popping up or something else. I don't know. But
yeah, we may. Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting.
But I
will
think
tell you that
it's about time to have a solid plan B.
Yeah, we you know, but I'll tell you what, whatever KT does next, I will be here with him. As long as he'll have me. I mean, if he doesn't want me, he can tell me.
I'll have you. But yeah, so this might be good. It might destroy the game. So no matter what it is, it's definitely something that you should follow very closely for, and you should be very, 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 very cautious.
Right.
Okay, strikers.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Basically, hope for the best, pray for the worst, or pray for the best, expect the worst.
Yeah,
but
pretty
we'll
much.
see.
But again, given how shit MROC gear system is, and given the history of them, I don't know, man. I'm scared.
I know. Same here.
And now we have strikers, which is again something that they showcased before, which is gonna unfortunately be like the highest rarity of the buff, which basically looked like a button right next to a special attack button where you can sub in a champion that lands a combo, use special attack on your behalf, like as in like, I know, you're using Rogue and Wild Gambit appears or something like that. And it's coming at some point in 2021. I don't think they know exactly what's going to happen with that yet, as well, as far as I have heard from other content creators. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But this could be okay, but since it's based on top of the relic system, it could also be the final nail in the coffin. Anyways, roster accelerated to the collected, that's fine. So they're accelerating champion progression to getting like uncollected, that's all good. No Thronebreaker crystals, I am fine with that. I guess. Why
Yeah,
not?
I'm fine because they just upgraded the Cavalier drop rates.
Yeah.
I still think that for Thronebreakers they should not. Maybe they shouldn't make a Thronebreaker crystal, but maybe have like Thronebreaker version of Cavaliers where they remove all the 3-stars. But
No,
that's
I,
just me.
I don't think that would ever
Hey,
work.
I'm still saying that. I know
Yeah,
why they don't, but I'm just saying.
yeah. That would never work in the kind. It would just destroy the economy and then vastly
I
increase the
know.
gap of people who can casually open some crystals and
I know.
still hook up.
KT. I know.
So yeah, that's not gonna happen. And then 6-star signature stones are still meant to be rare, and their explanation for that is because they want to push back the 7-stars with the introduction of relics. So if they increase the availability of 6-star signature stones, it will just basically make the game feel more dull, which I kind of agree. If 6-stars are here for the long haul, and if no 7-stars are coming, then you can't give these away as candy. I obviously, on a personal level, want all the 6-star signature stones that I can get, but I get why they are keeping them relatively rare. And again, this kind of like fits with the broader game view, even though I don't like it. Again, at this point, I'm quite sure. Right now, I feel more comfortable knowing that 7-stars are coming than knowing that relics are coming.
Yeah, for sure.
And Wish Crystal, they're working on it, but no ETA. So once again, they basically shit the bed announcing it, and they have no clue how to make it happen.
So we'll look for this for the next year's dev.
Yeah, so we're
diary to
waiting for
show
the
up on
update on
again.
the Wish Crystal on the next year's
We'll
dev
wish
diary.
to see it next year on the dev diary coming soon.
Yeah. And last bit, Project Genesis is actually the best thing, and I don't think that many people understand how valuable and great Project Genesis is.
It's gonna be great.
The problem with this game, the main problem, the core problem, besides Kabam and their greediness and their behavior, the biggest problem is the fact that the game is 7 years old nearly.
Yeah.
And with that comes outdated interfaces. With that comes a lot of. Thanks, Ronan.
Take my money.
Ronan 47.39 rupees.
But yeah, with the fact that game is 7 years old, obviously comes outdated source codes, outdated interfaces, increased load times, because everything that this game has is built on the foundations from 7 years ago, which is a huge disadvantage from any modern mobile game, which is part of the reason why we have so many bugs and so many crashes and so many weird crap happening in this game. Is just quite simply everything around this. Basically, you can look at this game as an antique car that has been modified to the max. This is like bloody, I don't know, Toyota Corolla made in 1990 that has had every other part changed except the most important part, which is an engine, right? So it's not working properly.
Exactly.
And that Project Genesis to me sounds like a lot like they are basically gonna transfer this entire game to a completely brand new, updated source code, updated base. So at some point, there's gonna be it should effectively, from coding and computer standpoint, be equivalent and not pre-count people, equivalent to 12.0.
Yeah.
Where,
Exactly.
but not in a sense where everything changes like it changed in 12.0, but the reason behind 12.0 was that they fundamentally changed the engines and mechanics in the game so it functions better. And that's kind of like similar idea here, where they just put everything that MCOC is on a modern platform,
Right.
which should result on quicker load times, on better user interfaces, better navigations, and things like that.
Yeah.
And should also hopefully be the end of the super long load times, the crashes, the bugs,
Hopefully.
and all the stuff.
Hopefully, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah. And so that is actually the biggest thing that they have announced there. That's it. Because one of the biggest problems with MCOC is how many people quit over the bugs, issues, load times, and obviously in the way Kabam deals with them, but having them in the first place is a big turnoff. And this is by far the most bugged game I have ever played, and that is potentially a solution to that.
not only the most bug game that I think many of us have played, we put up with so much, but also the fact that we keep giving them money.
Yeah, I know, right? So this Project Genesis could potentially be the answer for a lot of current and future problems. So I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Same here.
But yeah, that is it. This episode is far longer than normally, so my apologies.
There was a lot. Honestly, we could have done 2 episodes.
Yeah, but I
this was
think with
pretty
this one
much-
being as long as it is, we're just gonna keep it as is.
Yeah, it was just there was so much that happened this week.
Yeah.
Everybody, you gotta understand.
But yeah,
We appreciate y'all being here.
Yeah, so that is about it. I hope you guys enjoyed us bubbling away, and let's see how it all works out. It's as that meme. Just grab a pint of beer and wait for this whole thing to blow over.
Yeah, pretty much. But everybody, just know, end of the day, we'll always be here giving you all the information as soon as we can, along with 2 ramblings of a stupid American and a crazy Latvian.
Pretty much. So yeah, ton of things to do. Huge thank you to all of you for watching / listening. You guys are amazing, and yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, there's no real arena to play, but I do have some of the Shang-Chi challenges and some other stuff to do, so I will be up and ready to go. Hope you guys had a great week, and see you soon.
And if today's your birthday, happy birthday.
And a happy birthday. Okay, or happy birthday if you're a mother.
Yeah, or happy Mother's Day, you mean?
Yeah.
Tell your mom,
Same
thanks for
thing.
having sex with Dad.
Yeah, that thing.
Bye, everyone.
That's it. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the